What's the deepest, darkest secret that you have? When I was 10, my sister and I had always fought about stupid stuff. Well, one day she started saying that I shouldn't get a TV in my room even though she got one at age 10 cause I would become lazy, and I got pretty mad. We had a dog that she took care of and had to clean up after, so I went to my room and pissed a little on the hardwood floor. Went to my mom and said the dog peed and my sister had to clean up my own piss. Felt pretty shitty after a few years when I realized the kind of disgusting shit I pulled there.
It's interesting how sibling rivalry can lead to some pretty questionable actions. That story shows a mix of anger and the lengths we go to get back at someone. It's a bit messed up, but it sounds like a moment you'd regret with time. Those petty choices usually don't feel great later on.
There are days that I wake up and I feel like I'm not a real person. You know that feeling you get when you're at a wedding or a party and you have your drink in hand and you're passing and you're blending in and everything is cool, but there's this strange melancholy in the back of your head because you feel detached from everything around you. That feeling when you're throwing rice at a wedding as the newlyweds drive away and you feel happy for them and it's fine, but it's like, not happening /.
It's like you can see the joy around you, but you're just not part of it. Those moments can be strange, where everything looks nice but you can't quite engage.
I feel emotionally detached to most things in life. This is particularly challenging when socializing as I often voice my disinterest when not paying particular attention. Just to clarify from some comments under here, it isn't depression. I struggle to achieve emotional attachment, but can and have achieved it. For example, usually in social situations I'd just be detached and it would take a lot to spur emotional response from me. I do have subjects that I do care about to enjoy, but outside of that narrow range, it's mostly blank expression and indifference.
Trying to connect while feeling detached can be tough, especially in social settings. It's okay to feel this way, and understanding it is a step forward.
I am a 26-year-old man with regular long-term girlfriends. As far as all my friends and family know, I am straight and fairly conservative. In reality, I am very bisexual and a sex addict. I've slept with what I can estimate is over 300 men in the last 3 years. I've never tested positive for an STD, shockingly. Last week I slept with a different guy every day of the week. I've had 3 or more different partners in one day who weren't aware of each other. When I go through these phases, it completely consumes my life and all of my time. Then I find a GF and I'm monogamous. It's bizarre, I don't get it. So yeah, no one knows this about me. Edit, thanks for the concerned messages, I'm on PrEP already. No need to worry about me.
Keeping this hidden must be a lot to manage. It's good to hear you're on PrEP. Just finding balance seems important for you right now.
My best friend of 20 years killed himself about a year ago, and since then I've been using strong opiates to numb the pain. I just very recently told my GF, and tomorrow I'm going to a rehab clinic about this because it's gotten way out of control. It's basically been every day for the last 6 months, and now I can't go on a day without feeling sick. We'll soon stop taking it and then the withdrawal starts and I will be feeling like shit for weeks and maybe months. Edit, thanks for the kind words, everyone. I'm strongly convinced this is the right thing, so I hope to never have to deal with it again. Got a lot of support from my work and a wonderful GF, so hopefully it'll help me from any relapses. Will not go to a place where they offer medication and I'd just refuse. I have some Lyrica and Benzo to get me through the worst of the sickness. When I'm done, everything's going in the trash. Edit 2, I went to talk to a psychologist today and it was a very good talk. It feels like I have a plan now and supportive people around me. Thank you everyone for your super kind replies and messages. It gives me even more motivation. I'm considering documenting my experience, but I'm not sure where. Maybe there's a subreddit for those kind of things. Final edit, I've been without opiate 17 days now and it feels great. I can finally remember things and get up in time in the morning. Still going to a psychologist and it's very interesting. Withdrawal was way lighter than I thought. I lowered my dose a lot the last 2 weeks, which I think helped.
Deciding to go to rehab is a big step, and it seems like you've got a solid support system. Talking to a psychologist also seems to be helping you find clarity. It's good to hear you're feeling better after 17 days off opiates. Just take it one day at a time.
My best friend and I are more than just friends. We've carried on an intimate relationship, sexual and emotional, for years. This has gone on longer than both our current relationships. We're both women. She is absolutely the love of my life. I'm unsure if I'm hers. I think I'd probably leave my current relationship if she asked me. I go back and forth on whether she'd leave hers, but my gut says she wouldn't. It doesn't matter, anyway, as there's other life circumstances outside our relationships that get in the way of even considering it. We don't really talk about it.
It sounds like you've got a complicated situation. It's tough when feelings and relationships get intertwined like that. It might help to have an open conversation at some point, if you feel comfortable. But I understand that can be tricky given the circumstances. Just take things as they come, I guess.
One day when I was 15-ish, I woke up and didn't feel emotions the same way. It was like all my positive emotions went from a 10 to a 3. As I've gotten older, I feel less and less. My mother has been in and out of the hospital with sickle cell-related issues as of lately, and I'm not even sad. My mother single-handedly did everything for me to make sure I got everything I needed, and I'm not even upset at the idea that she could die alone in the hospital. I'm afraid one day I won't be about to feel anything and I'll become an empty husk of a man. I'm already at the point where I legitimately believe that no matter where I go in life I will never be happy.
It sounds like you're dealing with a lot. The shift in how you feel emotions can be tough to navigate, especially with everything happening with your mother. It might help to talk to someone about what you're experiencing, just to have another perspective. It's important to keep your feelings in check and not let them spiral too far.
My boyfriend and I almost burned my dad's truck down after delivering a desk to my grandmother's. We stopped by Dairy Queen to get lunch and my BF was playing with the buttons in the truck while we were waiting for our food. He accidentally pushed in the cigarette lighter. After a few moments I heard a loud pop and looked and saw the lighter popped out. My dad hoards receipts in his cup holder, so the light caught those on fire. BF and I freaked and smothered the fire with some extra napkins that were in the floorboard. The truck was fine and we scooped the ashes out and drove home. I sprayed the truck with air freshener and Dad never said anything to me until this past weekend when he was trying to find a large receipt for tax refunds. He just told me not to clean out his truck again, so he still doesn't know about the fire.
That sounds like a close call. The way your dad found out was kinda funny though. Must be nice that he hasn't noticed anything, but I wonder if he'll remember that moment down the line. Pretty wild to think about driving home after that.
I work with a lot of men who were sexually assaulted as children, and your reaction is common. It's a normal reaction when healthy validation from caregivers is absent or not at satisfactory level. The brain will interpret the attention in spite of all the other discomfort as a source of emotional validation. However, the trauma will hardwire the brain to seek this emotional validation through sexuality, which can result as a teenager/adult in unhealthy sexual behavior. Basically seeking people who will be sexually/emotionally/physically abusive in an attempt to get the emotional validation that was absent as a child.
It's interesting how early experiences shape behavior later on. It's a cycle that can be tough to break. Understanding this dynamic is important for healing. There's definitely a connection between childhood trauma and adult relationships. Talking about it is a step towards addressing these patterns.
I've had this happen to me before. It happened a few years ago when I was like a freshman in HS or earlier. The only example I can think of is when I'm in a crowded, busy place, party or something, and a strange feeling comes over me. Like I'm not there, but I am obviously there. Like I go into third-person mode, and I am viewing everything from a different point of view. Time is slowed, I'm not actively thinking, I don't care what's around me. I don't mind the feeling, but it's pretty strange.
It's like you're disconnecting from reality for a moment. It's kind of calming in a way, even if it's odd. It's good you don't mind it. I wonder if others have similar reactions.
I don't know if this is the same, but there's some times when I zone out and wonder why I keep doing all this. I'm 18 and in first year university, as well as spending 10 to 14 hours working out a week, and it's all so physically and mentally draining that I just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not a very emotional person and haven't had much relationship experience, the little I've had hasn't been great. My main motivation is that there must be some ultimate goal, some reason I keep doing this, but I'm lost to what it may be. I step out of myself and just watch behavior, maybe try to read what other people's goals are, but so far I guess I haven't discovered purpose.
It sounds like you're going through a tough time figuring things out. Balancing university and working out can be really overwhelming, especially when you're trying to find purpose. It's normal to feel lost at this age. Just keep observing and reflecting on what matters to you. Don't rush it, clarity often comes when you least expect it.
Thanks for your kind words, Delicate Butterfly 1, Sagan Hawking and Lady Liberta, but it's a bit like, and I don't mean to sound tragic as I don't think I have a tragic bone in my body, taking an astronaut who's been watching the world from a tin can in orbit for decades to come down on Earth suggesting that he blend in. He'd give off slightly incorrect vibes. I've always spent all of my non-working time in solitary pursuits and think I've become a bit strange. The last time I tried dating she asked me point blank, "Do you want a partner?" and my entirely truthful reply was that I was not sure. The full sentence should have been, "Because I've never had one but I'll certainly entertain the notion," but of course that's certainly not what people want to hear, is it? And that's fine and entirely reasonable that a woman in midlife would expect that her partner be articulate about being a partner.
It sounds like you're reflecting on your experiences and how they affect your view on relationships. The astronaut metaphor is interesting. It captures that feeling of being out of sync with others. It's honest to admit uncertainty about wanting a partner, especially if you haven't had that experience before. Communication can be tricky, but it's fair to expect clarity in a relationship, especially at this stage.
Honestly, I always thought that if this happened to me, I'd be right down to the police station. Unfortunately, it would be my word against his and I wouldn't stand a chance. He's the head of one of the charity boards at my uni, elected by his peers, for one, and I study criminology. I know how victims are questioned brutally in court. The worst he'd get would be a year max in jail, best case scenario. It just wouldn't be worth the time. I hope you're doing better now and you can find the help you need, no matter how long it's been.
It sounds like a tough situation. The power dynamics in these cases can make it hard to feel heard or supported. It's frustrating knowing the system might not deliver justice. Still, it's good to hear you're hoping for better days ahead. Seeking help is a solid step. Just take it one day at a time.
Might sound silly, but this is solid advice if you can do it in a correct and in a non-cringy way. I had some severe antisocialism all throughout my life until the day my genuine interest in taking a leadership class caused me to fake the confidence in myself. By faking the confidence I had in myself, I eventually saw that by faking confidence, I accomplished many things to the point where I didn't need to fake it anymore. I'd honestly say having and showing confidence in yourself is truly an art that anyone can master under the right circumstances. I'm not sure if I got my point across, but that's how I feel.
The idea of faking confidence to find real confidence makes sense. It's interesting how acting a certain way can lead to genuine change over time. Many people struggle with self-doubt, so this approach could help them. Confidence really can be a skill you develop. It sounds like you've learned a lot from your experience. It's good to see that you found a way to overcome those challenges.
Report him to the school. Use silent witness. Protect the next girl. Get his name on the radar. Because it wasn't your fault. You are right about the way victims are treated after the fact. The most important time are the hours right after. When time passes it becomes exponentially harder to prove. Listen, help others. Use what happened to you to protect others so it's not their words against their attackers. Become a victim advocate. Do something with this awful event. Don't lock it away, especially when it wasn't your fault. I'm sorry, I shouldn't tell you what to do. I'm a tad bit passionate about this. Just do me a favor, and heal, okay? And maybe help create a world where victims can feel safe reporting. If you can. Good luck.
The message emphasizes the importance of speaking out and preventing others from experiencing similar situations. It highlights how crucial the immediate aftermath is for victims and encourages them to become advocates for change. There's a strong sentiment of support and healing and creating a safer environment for others. Overall, it's a reminder that taking action can help turn a negative experience into a force for good.
Statute of limitations begs to differ in a lot of cases. Edit. In no way, shape or form was I trying to imply the statute of limitations would prevent this case. It vastly differs from state to state, province to province, and country to country. OP would have to check local books. Child abuse may not have a statute in some cases, but I do know in a lot of states crimes less than murder usually have statutes between 25 and 40 years for violent offenses depending on the type of violent offense and the age of the victim.
It seems like you're discussing the complexities of the statute of limitations across different legal systems. It's true that these laws vary quite a bit, which can lead to confusion. Checking local laws is definitely a good approach to understand what applies in specific situations.